Hello. Cold brew got me like. What day is today? Welcome to the show. It's Wednesday, July 14th or something like that. And I'm here in Monrovia, California at Cold Brew headquarters out here. And Greg is at Cold Brew headquarters east in Nashville, Tennessee, and so is Eric. Eric is also at Cold Brew headquarters east.
No, we're central.
What's the eastern one then? We don't have it. We don't have an outpost.
I don't know, but we're definitely in the central.
We can get people involved, maybe as a street team kind of thing. Like who wants to set up just the same way Aleister Crowley set up different branches of the Ordo Templi. I can't remember the fucking other last words, like Tempe. I can't remember. It's OTO, but anyway, just the same way that Aleister Crowley franchised his Satanic Church, we will also franchise. You can open a Cold Brew Got Me Like franchise on the East Coast if you pay us a fee. And I don't know what do you serve there? I mean, it's not like a restaurant, I guess, but it would just be a headquarters where you hand out pamphlets and maybe
mugs,
organize cold brew events or demonstrations. Yeah, mugs, mostly mugs. Almost everything's based on mugs. It would probably be a shop that sold mugs.
I'm picturing more of a street team with headbands and skateboards and spray paint. Lots of CMBL.
CMBL. That's not what it is.
Or CBML.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because none of this is real. We don't really have. We're not really like the Black Panthers. We don't have different offices everywhere. I would love to have that, but there's no room for that in today's stupid society where you can't start a fucking corner. You can't even rent a fucking office for anything because it's too expensive. Black Panthers would have to be in a WeWork.
Cold Brew Got Me
Black Panthers used to have fucking offices. You know what I'm saying? Like political action groups used to have offices. Like, they could rent a storefront and like have pamphlets in there, and they didn't even have to sell anything, and they could do that for they could rent a place for $100 a month or whatever, and then have $75 worth of pamphlets, and they're in business.
Right.
You could start a movement. Now you got to be on fucking Twitch, which is owned by Bozo Bezos.
Right. Like you gotta subscribe to Microsoft Office, and that costs money. You gotta pay.
The Weather Underground and the Black Panthers and shit would all be like Twitch shows, which I can guarantee you are way less effective than storefronts. Hot as fuck out here. Hot as balls out here in Monrovia, as the kids say. Hot as balls. You know how people say tripping balls? I wonder when that started happening. And that women say tripping balls too? That's a true thing. You guys know. Power directors know. Welcome, power directors. Welcome to the Gimlins. Welcome to the hot storks in the chat room. This is Cold Brew Got Me Like. It is Wednesday, July 14th. I've been doing some nude promos, which I think have really been effective. I really think those aren't going away. And hashtag, what do you call it? Notarized nude is taking off. Someone in the power directors got in touch with me and said that she looked up the hashtag notarized nude, and she said that's all mine. Nobody else has that. No other person on the whole Instagram has used the hashtag notarized nude, which makes me proud in some stupid modern way. Not to mention we fucking trademarked goddamn Cold Brew Got Me Like, except it's owned by Chris Ruffer Crofton, and I don't know how to fix it. We talked about that last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I trademarked it to the wrong name. Now I'm gonna have to go to court against myself. Chris Refer versus Christopher. It'll be action-packed, though. We'll both be cold brewed out of our minds, yelling at each other. I'll put on a fake mustache when I'm on the witness stand, and then I'll be Chris Ruffer. I have a feeling Chris Ruffer is a rough customer.
You'll be on court TV.
Yeah. Me against myself. Interesting trial today in Cold Brew County, Texas. Yeah, because we'll eventually move to, we'll eventually start our own county, just like all these cowardly Republicans and move to Texas. We'll eventually also be in Texas for tax purposes, and we'll have a cold brew county, and that the Greg will be the judge, and it'll be me against myself, and they'll put it on court TV. An unusual development today in Cold Brew County, Texas. Judge Greg Crofton presided over a trial of Chris Ruffer Crofton against Chris Duffer Crofton over the trademark Cold Brew Got Me Like, which no one has even contested. So I don't know why no one has even tried to use it besides. Anyway, it'll be great. So everybody start an East Coast branch of Cold Brew Got Me Like, and we'll send pamphlets your way if you can show us a picture of the storefront.
Cold brew
And
got
we
me
are
like.
political. We're not apolitical. Cold brew is definitely liberal. Cold brew is a liberal substance. If you drink enough cold brew, you will not be a Republican anymore. But it helps if you've also done mushrooms a lot before that. Everyone should do mushrooms at least once so they won't be a fucking Republican.
Do you think that everyone that ends up making money ends up becoming a Republican?
Yes, and that goes to my joke that I am not a Republican, but it's only because I have less than $800. As soon as I have $800 in the bank, I immediately start thinking that people need to get their shit together. I did it. Why can't they? I have $800. No one helped me. I got into college on my own. I never used a road. I never used a public road. I've never called the police. I did it all myself.
I was thinking about
this will be a good segue for fuckface going into space. Fucking Richard Branson going up in space and just fucking jumping around like he's at a goddamn dance club. Fuck. The new VIP room is space. That's what this is. Hope you understand this. We've been turned into like the world has been turned into the club.
I didn't realize that. You're right.
Space has been turned into the VIP section. It is fucking pathetic. Capitalism has fucking turned space into a goddamn VIP room.
And that's why they showed Elon Musk hanging out with Richard Branson in his kitchen or somewhere, because he wanted a piece of that VIP room, even after the fact.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean he was just like, he was like hanging out, like
yeah,
he was going backstage.
They took a photo together. They're both wearing no socks.
Yeah, like backstage at the fucking Maroon 5 concert.
Yeah.
They'll probably have Adam Levine up in fucking space judging some singing competitions on a goddamn rocket plane. It's disgusting. I mean, capitalism makes everything into fucking a contest. Everything. I mean, that's what it's defined as. I mean, it's a contest. That's what capitalism is. But life, America, America. I love how Americans, and it makes sense that I call everything America. I almost called life America. But it makes sense that everybody's depressed because there's so much more going on. There's so much more mystery to what's going on than everything's being turned into a contest with cash and prizes. It's the stupidest way to look at this world, and it's the most depressing lens to look at this world. It's the most depressing lens to look at this world through. It's just there's just so much more happening here, and when I say this, I mean metal detecting is the thing I think is missing. We should spend more time metal detecting. The treasure's in the ground. It's not in the air. Hashtag notarized nude.
Notarized nude makes me think that your ass cheek is the melted candle stamp.
Yes, that's what I think. I think that too. Notarized nude definitely implies like someone using a hole puncher on your ass cheek or something. I'm nude. Notarize me.
Well, no, that you actually do the notarizing with your ass.
Oh, no. Oh, you're a notary. Nude notary. That's a nude notary.
Oh, sorry.
That's a cold brew notary.
Yes, come in. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Oh my God. What is this? The cold brew notary. What did you think it was? I thought it was a normal notary. It's the same. It functions the same way. I don't care. I'm going to a normal notary. You're gonna have to wait 3 weeks for an appointment. I don't care. I'm not having you put a butt cheek on.
I've been working for 2 hours straight. Come on in.
I need the plans for my child's playhouse notarized. I'm not going to have you squashing your butt cheeks against them. I don't want a cold brew notary for my zoning. Cold brew zoning notary. Sorry, this is a TV show. Welcome. You're going to space. You want a free ticket to space? We were just kidding. You're going to space with Adam Levine and Ryan Seacrest to look out the window.
Adam Levine in space is a tempting scenario for his head to be crushed by something.
Oh, fuck. The only upside to this is inevitably hubris. I mean, this is, if I could think of the goddamn name of the fucking mythical guy. Who's the guy with the wings? Not Perseus. Who's the guy?
Prometheus?
No, that's a guy. I think that's the guy who runs really fast. I can't remember who anybody is, but it's the guy, the fucking guy who goes up. Jason and the Argonauts, the Golden Fleece. No,
let's check the chat room. The brains.
It's It's
Icarus.
Icarus. Fuck. God,
Gem City.
Thank God.
Icarus. Freestyle Junk says, "What is Boz?"
Oh, Boz Scaggs. My friend Christy Benjamin got me this hat. It's a Boz Scaggs tour hat. Boz Scaggs is a musician. Like kind of yacht rocky. But we should actually play the clip of him. We should play the clip of Boz Scaggs having the fight with Bill Graham. Remember when Boz Scaggs got mad at Bill Graham and they were making a documentary about the final performances that happened at Fillmore West?
Yeah.
There's a documentary somewhere which is pretty great. Well, just because it's fucking old footage of San Francisco from the 60s. You find it's just so interesting because it just looks like a regular metropolis. You think everybody out there would look like a hippie and everything would be, it's magical. It just looks like a regular city, except it just had some people who were dressed weird in it. Because hippies were just hipsters, really, like modern, Instagram people. So what do you call him? Boz Scaggs got mad because he wasn't the headliner. He wasn't listed as the headliner at the final performances at Fillmore West. And then he has an argument with Bill Graham on tape, and they're both just dicks. Bill Graham's a legendary dick, and just sociopaths having a showdown. Boz Scaggs, though, is dressed up like a motorcycle, like a kind of like a cosmic motorcycle rider or something, which is funny because if you look at Boz Scaggs in the 80s, he just became like a regular 80s hot, like he reinvented himself as a hot 80s guy. And he sang that song, Love, look what you've done to me. I promised that I'd fall in love so easily. Oh, love, the song from Urban Cowboy. But anyway, back then he was like a cosmic cowboy guy, and he told and him and Bill Graham just start saying "fuck you" to each other. Which is whatever.
Crawberry says "Low Down" is a pretty dope jam, though.
Yeah. Oh no, he's great. But I just think it's funny that at one time he was kind of this crunchy cosmic cowboy guy, like in the early. He basically just followed trends the way all those guys did, because music was big business then. So if it was like. He had a stylist probably, they were like, right now people are into hippies. So you got to dress like a cosmic motorcycle guy. And now it's the 80s and you got to get a haircut and we're going to get you a silk shirt. And, but he was one of those guys that looked good a lot of different ways. I guess he's a handsome guy. I don't really know. I always think guys are handsome that aren't handsome. I tell a girl like, oh, that guy's handsome. And they're always like, no, it's not. That guy's not handsome. I don't know what girls like. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, I don't know why Ryan Reynolds is such a big deal versus like, I don't know. What's that guy who played Foster Wallace in that movie?
Val Kilmer.
Yes, Val Kilmer. No, not Val Kilmer, but like what's his name? No, Jason. Anybody in the chat know who's the guy who played David Foster Wallace in that movie? That fucking guy.
Oh, that guy. I don't know his name.
Hot Storks. Anybody in the Hot Stork bog?
The guy who directed the Sesame Street movie or the Muppets movie. Jason something.
Yeah, whatever. I just can't tell who's hot. Like, why? Like, like Jason. I don't think that guy's that great looking or anything, but I just can't tell that much of a difference between him and Ryan Reynolds. Like the guy who played David Foster Wallace and Ryan Reynolds. Like, if you say to a woman, like, oh, they're just both good looking or
Jason
something.
Segel.
And then
it's Jason Segel, guys.
Yes. Okay.
That's it.
Thanks, Eric. So Jason Segel,
Segel.
like I would say, oh, well, but like they look about the same or whatever, and then girls would be like, no way, Ryan Reynolds is fucking hot as shit, and Jason Segel just looks like a regular person, and I can't tell the difference. Anyway, so I don't know if Boz Scaggs is attractive or not, but Boz Scaggs, this is gonna be a complicated show. I can
Women like confident guys that are gonna make the good time happen.
Well, right, but Ryan Reynolds, it's more of just a physical thing. Girls just melt for the way he looks. He looks just to me like, I guess, like a hot fireman or something.
Yeah,
like,
but
you know what I mean?
wacky.
Like
He's super wacky.
Ryan Reynolds, or no, not Ryan Reynolds. I got the wrong guy. Ryan Gosling.
Oh,
It's hard to keep track of all these Ryans with the Seacrests and the Goslings and the fucking. What's the name of the other one I just said?
Ryan Gosling is stoic.
Okay, yeah, but that's girls like
iron.
that silent type. But I mean, he's
protection.
Right, but he's like 4'11". I mean, can you be stoic and be that short and girls still think it's hot?
Let's see what the chat room says. They're not saying anything.
Doesn't matter. It's not important. So anyway, Boz Scaggs, it's very funny. And it's very funny because he's having an argument with Bill Graham, and Bill Graham, you just don't tell Bill Graham to go fuck himself because Bill Graham just will not tolerate it. He wants the last fuck you. And he was like a very powerful promoter. He was like kind of like the Elon Musk of 1969 or something, and so he says, listen, man, we couldn't get in touch with you, and we're not putting you on as a headliner because you got a new band and we don't know if it sounds good or whatever, and we just couldn't get in touch with you, man. And they kept saying man, and cat, like, and say stuff you say back then, like, we couldn't get in touch with you. And he's like, well, I was playing with some new cats, all this crazy stuff. And then he's like, well, man, we couldn't get in touch with you, so you're not headlining. And he goes, and then Boz Scaggs takes a long pause and he just goes, well, I guess what does he say exactly? He says, well, I guess fuck you then. No, he goes, I guess let's say fuck you. And then fucking, well, fuck, goddamn. He said fuck you to fucking.
Then Billy Graham's like, all right, now we're talking. Bring it on, buddy.
Chased him out of the building. He chased him out of the building, saying, fuck you, I'll mash your teeth into your mouth. Like, you can't tell me to fuck. Let's say fuck you. He's like, you'll never play in this town again. And then anyway, Boz Scaggs ended up headlining after all that. But Billy Graham chased him out of the building, telling him, and they basically were just yelling fuck you back and forth at each other. And like Billy Graham got the last. Billy Graham. What's his name? The guy I'm talking about.
Graham.
Bill Graham, not Billy
Oh,
Graham.
yeah.
Anyway, so Bill Graham was like, fuck you, and then closed the door really fast. It was just like a fight between two sociopaths. It'd be like if Elon Musk and fucking Richard Branson got in a fight, and like Richard Branson, I think Richard Branson's also like 4'11". So I think Elon Musk is actually tall, so he'd probably jack.
Well, the hot storks say Ryan Reynolds is super fucking hot though, and then Glorious Garbage agreed. Freestyle Junk said, I think it's the same way a lot of men think Megan Fox is hot. They're dumb as fuck, but the lizard brain wants it. So we got some good conversation going.
Megan Fox. Yeah, Megan Fox is not. Megan Fox looks like, I mean, she's like 90s, like, who cares? I don't care. But what do you call it?
Well, I was thinking about Val Kilmer when you talked about leading men, and he at Cannes that he just premiered his documentary. Have you heard about it? Did you read about it, Chris?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
so
made a documentary. Yeah.
Apparently, he
Or
shot.
somebody made a documentary, or he made it.
No, he had his own camera crew, like right when HD cams were invented, like for the Red Planet when he was shooting that film, he had about 6 people shooting him while he was on the set. So there was 800 hours of footage to sift through that Val Kilmer had shot of himself as a working actor. And I just thought it should be an interesting exploration of the psyche of a leading man like Val.
Oh yeah, well Val Kilmer. What is Red Planet?
That was his movie about Mars, directed by. You didn't see Red Planet? Eric,
No, I don't. I didn't. I saw Mars I saw that movie with for some reason I saw that movie with Matt. I can't remember anybody's name. I'm thinking Matt Dillon. Matt, the guy from fucking How About These Apples? That fucking movie. Donnie Darko. No, what do you call him? The guy, the janitor is good at math. Matt Damon. There you go. Someone just put it in there. Okay, Matt Damon. Yeah, Matt Damon.
Let's stay away from names.
I don't even know what I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
Meet Joe Black. Good one. Who's that? Who says that? Is that Joe Bain? It is Joe Bain. He knows about Meet Joe Black because I talked about Meet Joe Black forever. That was like the only punchline I had for all my jokes.
Anyway, Red Planet came out in 2000. Val Kilmer was at the peak of his box office draw.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Val Kilmer was an alcoholic. That was his problem.
Oh, really?
Probably cocaine, too. But, yeah, he was a very bad alcoholic, and it made everything in his life hard forever. He was what's the movie with Val Kilmer?
Batman?
This show is crazy. No, the movie with Val Kilmer.
Have you cracked open your cold brew yet?
No, not really.
Oh.
Do you think it'll help my brain? Is that I know where you're going with that? You're like, this guy can't think of anything. You might want to have some cold brew. Your brain's not working right. No, Val Kilmer. Fuck.
Tombstone.
No. It's the one with Marlon Brando. It's fucking Island of Dr. Moreau. There's that great documentary called but I can't remember the name of the documentary, but everybody go find that documentary and watch it. It's so fucking funny. It's the story of the making of the movie Island of Dr. Moreau from the 90s. Just go find that movie.
It's called Lost Soul, The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of.
Such a great documentary. Not necessarily a well-made documentary, but just a great story. Great story. So fucking funny. Like Val Kilmer drove the director insane by being such a dick.
Yeah, it's sort of like American Movie a little bit. It's sort of the making of a movie.
Yeah, and the director Richard Stanley or whatever his name was like a very, very interesting guy. He made some movie called like Cyberpunk in the 90s that was. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. There's too many things, too much pop culture going on. But let me tell you a story, everybody here in the chat room, and then we'll go to a video. One of those crazy videos we're known for here at Cold Brew Got Me Like. Okay, so right after I got sober, I went to Bonnaroo, and I went with a band, and the band knew one of the guys who runs the whole festival. So we got an all access pass to fucking everything. So we went to, I got to go to the after party for Radiohead set. It was 2013, I guess. I think I'd been sober might have been 2012. I can't remember. I think it was 2013. No, it was 2012. It was 2012. Radiohead played as the headliner at Bonnaroo, and I got to go to their after party where it was just like 50 people, and it was like all celebrities and me and my friends, except everybody there was fucked up on like ecstasy or something, and I was sober, and so I could just watch the whole thing. And so it was like Tom York DJing. There were like 4 white couches just put in the middle of a field. Because white couches mean celebrities. Like, right. When celebrities are like, we're having a party, they're immediately on the walkie-talkie like, we need 4 white couches.
It's like Firefest.
Yeah, it's just like white couches for some reason. It's just like clean as fuck white couches. And I don't know how celebrities keep from getting ketchup all over everything, but they do somehow. Probably because assistants run around scrubbing it up as soon as they squirt it. But so I get Tom York is DJing. He's 4'11. Every celebrity's 4'11. So anyway, Tom York is somewhere behind the DJ booth. You can't really see him. You just see the top of his head dancing around. And then Flea is there. Aziz Ansari is wandering around talking to nobody. And Ryan Reynolds is there. And so the reason I'm telling this story is because I want to cockblock Ryan Reynolds. I like to cockblock celebrities if I can. And
Ryan Reynolds, what was he doing there? I didn't know he was there.
He was there, and this is what he was doing. I'll tell you exactly what he was doing. He was looking around in an insecure manner, mostly looking at Flea, hoping Flea will look at him, and he was dancing because everybody there was dancing. Celebrities, all they do is dance because they have nothing else to do. There's just nothing for them to do. They have nothing to do, so they all dance like mad people. I'll tell you what, they dance. There's nothing else for them to fucking do. No, they have nothing to do whatsoever. So they get together and they dance around on drugs. Well, no, they dance around and look around and see if anybody's paying attention to them, and then they eventually just decide to have sex with somebody. That's all they do. So Ryan Reynolds, I just noticed, this is 2013. I don't know if he was a huge star yet. I don't think he was. This is before Deadpool, whatever the fuck that is. I've never seen it, and I never will. And I don't care, Marvel people or whoever is mad about comic books or whatever in the Gimlin room. I don't even know what side of the comic book wars to be on. Do you, Greg?
No, I'm on no side. I've seen Deadpool though. It's not. It's an action movie and it's a comedy.
Yeah. So Ryan Reynolds has a big fat head, and so everybody likes him because it looks good on film or whatever. But here's what Ryan Reynolds was doing. He was doing a wacky dance, and I watched him because I was sober. He was doing a wacky dance, and no one looked at him while he was doing it. And so he just stopped doing it all slow. He was like, and he was hoping like somebody like Flea or Aziz Ansari, or probably not Aziz Ansari, but he was hoping Flea or Tom York would notice and be like, haha, look at that Ryan Reynolds guy's a fun guy or whatever. So he was like, and then he no one looked at him, and he's kind of went, and he was wearing a fedora. So anyway, if you still think Ryan Reynolds is hot after that story.
And there was nobody around except for 3 people in white couches.
Well, there were a whole bunch of there were lots of lower level people dancing around with them. I mean, like Flea danced with some woman who was not his wife, but he didn't leave with her, but she wanted him to leave with her. So some woman just danced until her spine almost fell out of her body, because Flea's whole brand is being a wild man. So he showed up and danced like aerobics instructor for an hour and a half. Then he just left this poor woman decimated because she tried to keep up with Flea. She was ruined. She danced. She thought she was about to get married to Flea, and then Flea just was like, "See you later," because everybody wants to get married to Flea.
That's like the time that I worked for a summer at a magazine company called Popular Woodworking, and this one of the experienced editors.
Hold on a second. I just want to tell really quick. I want you to be like, this reminds me of this Radiohead after party reminds me of Popular Woodworking. Okay, go ahead.
And so somehow I probably wasn't going to get hired there, but they're oh, maybe you could work here someday. It was F&W Publishing. And he's like, "You jog?" I'm like, "Yeah, I jog." He's like, "Oh, you want to go running at lunch?" I was like,
"Oh my God.
All right, let's do it." So I had to keep up with this Superman jogger, and I made it, but just barely.
That's exactly like Dancing with Flea. You're completely correct. It's the exact same thing as Dancing with Flea, like you've never danced before. And then in the end, him just being like, forget it. I go running with a lot of people.
He was like, "You weren't lying. You have jogged before."
So wait, I remember that. Was it an internship?
Yeah.
Right.
It's an internship in Cincinnati, and I was burglarized as soon as I moved in to the house that I stayed at for 3 months. Anyhow, I think it's a good time to get into the flute.
But I think we just missed my whole screen just went blank. Oh, there it is. Did we go off for a second, Eric? Okay. We had a weird, my screen went blank. It doesn't matter. Okay. So yeah, that's exactly the same thing. It's like people who are successful put people through the ringer. You know, they're just like, you know what? You're going to do this thing I like to do. And I'm going to rate you on it. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's just, it reminds me, my friend Alex had this famous actor who was supposed to do this movie he was going to make. And the guy never did the movie, but he made him talk to him on the phone for like 100 hours about his vitamin regimen.
Right.
And like made him start taking vitamins. And then he ended up not doing the project at all. And like, he wasted huge amounts of, you know, everybody's on. If you're a celebrity, everybody's on your time. You know, that's just, and you don't quite realize it. They don't understand that. Who cares? I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Boz Scaggs.
Well, I think that we had a blackout now if we did or we didn't. I'm not sure, but it could have been the Virgin rocket, you know, going past the satellites and blocking our transmission. You know.
Yeah, because the screen just flickered on our end, but I guess it didn't. Yeah, probably that was Bezos putting his thumb over the camera, just being like, "You better watch it." You call me Bozo Bezos one more time.
Yeah, I'll black out the Earth, motherfucker.
Yeah, you should. That's the thing is you have to depend on one guy to not turn off like every satellite in the world.
And I looked it up. Seriously, there are 6,500 satellites spinning around the Earth, and 3,500 are out of date.
And how many are owned by Jeff Bezos?
One company that's about to go public owns 200 of them, and it's going to be the Google of Earth.
So, okay, this was the main thing I wanted to talk about today anyway, is just how stupid this is. I just couldn't be more disappointed in everybody involved. And okay, there you go. There's nothing in there to do any science. There's nothing. There's no scientific shit in there. That is just. I mean, we might as well be looking at a bunch of trust fund kids off-roading in a very, very nice Jeep.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't. The amount of money that this man, because this man runs Virgin, he has about 11 shell companies. He has the profits from Virgin come to him through a trust, so he pays no taxes. This guy is a charlatan. He's relied on his stupid head of hair and the fact that he's kind of supposed to be cute or something. You know, like he's a PR creation to put a friendly face on tax evasion. And
so you did some research. You looked into it.
Yes, I looked in. I wanted to find out, like, you know, what is the problem with Richard Branson? Because you don't get this much money being nice. You don't get this much money honestly. And to take all this money and then to just have a goddamn dance club in the sky for you and your hot friends. And I know people will say, oh, well, I think he did take some astronaut's granddaughter up or something. He made some gesture to science. But essentially, this is flaunting your wealth. That's all he's doing. This is and once again, just the same way Jeff Bezos wants us to be so excited that he's fulfilled his boyhood dreams. Branson says the same thing at the beginning of this video. He says, if you're, you know, I've dreamt of this since boyhood, and you can do it too. Well, not if you're moral at all. You can't. If you're amoral, you can do this. Sure, you can fucking steal money from everybody while people are living in tents and cancer isn't cured, and you can go up and party in the sky and tell everybody that they can do that too. If anyone wanted to do that, who the hell would want to steal everybody's money to just flaunt it the way they did? He didn't even make it to space. He made it to near space. All he did was become weightless for a short time, and it cost like $1 zillion for him to go on a ride. And I was so offended. I thought the whole operation was offensive, but to see them just jumping around in there with no scientific equipment,
Right. That's an interesting observation. I didn't see it that way. I was suspicious of the whole thing. I mean, in his Wikipedia page, his picture looks like a mugshot, sort of. So it's starting to fit together.
That trail of fire coming out of the back of his fucking his spaceship there is universal healthcare. That's what that trail of fire is. That trail of fire is individualism over caring for your fellow man. It is anti every religion ever has taught to take care of the poor. There has never been a religion that ever said go drink vodka in the sky or whatever the fuck they did on this thing. I'm sure they drank energy drinks. Look at that blonde woman. What is she doing except just screaming, I am rich. Like people can belong to country clubs, but I belong to the space club. I mean, it's just the worst. Look at that. I mean, it's just so disgusting. It's the VIP room of hell. It's the VIP room of hell. It is the worst of self-seeking. It is the worst of humanity. It is an orgy room in the ether.
Oh my God.
Oh, we have audio. Okay, well, yeah, there we are. Who needs it? Okay, rich guy hoots and hollers because he's weightless on top of everything else. He's also he also doesn't. He's also unencumbered by taxes.
Oh my God.
I mean, I just couldn't be. I mean, I can't believe the amount of suffering that's going on this planet right now, and that goon uses those resources to have a party with 4 friends in a goddamn glorified airplane that goes higher. I mean, everybody involved in that is I mean, if everything was going great on Earth, I would say, sure, go up in the sky and jump around in a goddamn, in your version of a billionaire's bubble house. You know, what is it, a bubble house? What do you call those things that people jump in, those bounce houses? That's what this is. It's just like Great Adventure for dicks.
Yeah, I'd like to know. I'm just looking up his tax evasion stuff. It's definitely there. His first student magazine was called Student, and it folded after they interviewed Mick Jagger. But he's had a number of business ventures that have not worked out.
Well, I mean, I just know that if you have $1 billion, space tourism is not high on the list of things we need. And people will say, well, we need progress. Don't sacrifice progress just because everybody has cancer. That's their argument. That's just their bullshit argument for why. There's nothing about going to space that helps us right now. There's nothing about this is just their version of being like, you know what? The world is fucked. And now we're going to leave. But, no, the world is not fucked. The world is fucked because the 12 people have enough money to go jump around in a space bounce house. That's why the world is fucked. The world is not fucked. The world is not fucked. The world is fucked because of people like Richard Branson.
Right.
Because of a loss of community, because no one takes care of their fellow man, because you're supposed to celebrate the fact that some sociopathic man is able to be, through his force of personality, through his own lack of enlightenment, combined with his complete sense of entitlement, has managed to accumulate more resources than one person should ever have. And then he takes them and spends them on this, and then broadcasts himself just fucking. He didn't even look solemn. The least he could do, and I mean this, he could look solemn. The world is really in a bad state right now. There are people dying all over this globe from a pandemic. It is not the time to be fucking broadcasting yourself grinning like an idiot for this high price tag nonsense. It's, he didn't even go to space. That's the thing. It's also bullshit. He didn't go to space. He went on a very high plane ride.
It says the Virgin Group today controls more than 400 companies in various fields.
Yeah, you got to have money to make money. I mean, it's just the oldest thing in the world. I mean, you get some money and then you just fucking you hire an accountant.
400.
I just can't get over this. Just this visual. It's just too much for me. It's really, this is when I think it's like when I believe the world is a simulation is when I see shit like this, because it's just too brutal. I mean, how could we be alive during this time where something like this could happen? How could we have to look at billionaires frolicking while we all die from a pandemic? It's surreal. It's real. And then on top of it, for these billionaires to have commandeered the media, so the media tries to sell us that these are people we're supposed to look up to, instead of the opposite of what humans, the opposite of Christianity. I mean, I'm not even a Christian, but I'm just saying a lot of Americans tend to identify, and British people identify as Christians. Going to space and jumping around like you're on a jungle gym while everyone's dying from a fucking pandemic and living in fucking tents is the opposite of Christianity. This is a man who has a disorder. This is a man who should be shamed. And instead they bought the media, and then they have the media complicit in this, broadcasting this as if it's some kind of fucking triumph. There have been other people who have gone up to the same height that Branson did. The guy who jumped out of that famous video, the guy jumping out of the plane, he did the same thing, except he did it with like fucking daring. And, that's something inspiring. He went up there in a balloon. It didn't cost $15 billion, and he fucking jumped out of it. Richard Branson pretty much built himself a space yacht and then jumped around in front of everybody on it. And it made me so sick. Everyone's under so much stress, and this fuck thinks that is appropriate to grin like a madman and talk about his childhood dreams at a time like this is just beyond belief. And then just to have all these people on the payroll, every anchor man and every anchor woman from fucking CNN to MSNBC to Fox on board for this bullshit, because they're hoping they could be one of the fucking people who get to go up there.
Rockets fueled with other people's money.
Yeah, rocket powered by tax loopholes. Okay, now there it is. Really high up.
It kind of does look like space a little bit, though.
Well, it's the edge of space. Here he goes. Doesn't he say something like, I've dreamt of being in a fucking spaceship since I was a kid, and we're supposed to be excited?
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream, looking up to the stars. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship with lots of other wonderful adults looking down to our beautiful, beautiful Earth. To the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this, just imagine what you can do.
I mean, I just can't even tell you how mad that makes me.
Oh my God.
He just said, I'm up here with these wonderful people. What doing what? You're wonderful people during a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic, doing flips and hooting. No solemnity whatsoever. I mean, the fucking astronauts, when they put their feet on the moon, they treated it with some, they were solemn about it. This is not a science. This is not a giant step for mankind. This is a rich guy in a glorified airplane partying during a pandemic while people are fucking suffering. Anyway, it just made me sick. I just couldn't believe it. And your childhood dream, reach for the stars. This is not a project. He developed this as space tourism. It's not even, it's just a ride. It's Disney on steroids with stolen money, and it's just it's a disgusting display. Anyway, a disgusting display.
Well, it says his wealth is estimated this year as $5.7 billion.
I mean, they were up there for 4 minutes or something. That's not a model. What is that supposed to save humanity? I mean, they act like they're doing some big thing for science. I know that fucking flying a really high airplane that makes you weightless is a long way from like living in space or, I mean, this is really a daredevil operation that just costs too much, like, Evel Knievel, he could do his shit with just a motorcycle. I just really feel like all that money should have gone to cancer research. I mean, it's as simple as that. I cannot celebrate frivolity like that during a difficult time. I just can't. And I just don't believe this idea like, oh, well, you're just trying to say that we should never go to space because there are bad things on Earth. No, that's not going to space. That's just partying. And that's all. It's just partying. It's just fiddling while Rome burns. It's just apocalyptic bullshit.
Tax frauds, partying.
Yeah, I just can't take it, I just don't like it.
Who also have been knighted.
Yeah, by his friends. I mean, they're all peers. I mean, it's like me being knighted by a fucking, by my, I don't know, by dad or something. Like our dad, he knighted me. Doesn't mean anything. It's just like your best friend knighting you. I can get knighted if I want by my best pal, the Queen of England or whoever. What's the Queen of England's qualification? She's obsessed with corgis?
One of his first attempts at business was a failed attempt to grow and sell Christmas trees.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine?
He's a salesman. He's just a salesman gone wild. He's got a salesman's head. He's got a youthful look. He's got a lot of energy. He's like Ryan Reynolds doing a silly dance, except people did pay attention to him.
He probably wanted the trees to grow in 1 year.
Have you guys seen Silent Running? Speaking of trees, yeah, he was like, these trees, he's like trying to pull on them. Richard Branson, yeah. Have you seen Silent Running? Has anyone in the chat seen Silent Running?
No one's saying anything yet.
Doesn't matter. It's just domes. It's Bruce Dern. All right, we're almost to the end of the show. Today's show was a little bit bumpy. I hope you guys had fun though. But I'm going to tell you a story to finish out the show, and then maybe we'll talk.
Freestyle Junk says no. They haven't seen it.
Okay, Silent Running is this movie that came out in like, I don't know, 79 or something. And starring Bruce Dern as this guy who's like piloting a spaceship that has the last remaining trees in the universe on it. It's like with two big terrariums, like two big, like, greenhouses full of trees.
Yeah.
And somebody, I forget, like,
seen it.
It's a pretty good movie, but it's I saw it at the New Beverly Cinema here in Los Angeles where they show old movies, and it was really fun to see on the big screen. I don't know, it's not really technically that good of a movie.
Is he a jogger?
No, I don't know why it's called Silent Running, but it's supposed to be an environmental. It's supposed to be a pro-environmental movie, and it even includes a voiceover by Joan Baez, I think, or else they use a Joan Baez song. She allowed them to use a Joan Baez song for the soundtrack. So it was supposed to be a serious movie about the environment, but it was like undermined by these little robot people that, like, I guess they had like the main robot. They had like an R2-D2 type robot, but it was like they had an amputee in it. And you could tell it was an amputee. It didn't look anything like a robot. It looked like an amputee with like some plastic glued to him. And so it was undermined by these weird robots that were clearly little people with just like plastic glued to them. So it just made the whole movie kind of like silly, just these robots. And then on top of that, Bruce Dern kills somebody in the first like 10 minutes. And it's supposed to be a bad guy, but still Bruce Dern's supposed to be the likable guy in the movie and the hero, and he murders somebody and buries him in the first part. And even though that guy's a villain, you can't really get over the fact that Bruce Dern killed the person with a shovel. And it just kind of ruins the whole, I couldn't get, as much as I liked Bruce Dern's general, he's supposed to be an environmentalist and stuff. You just can't shake the fact that he's a murderer. So like that and that's like kind of hangs over the whole movie for me. So I went outside the theater. Now there's these men that like basically live at the New Beverly Cinema. New Beverly Cinema is the cinema that Quentin Tarantino bought out here. It used to be a repertory film place starting in 1978, and then in like 2000 it was going bankrupt, and Bruce Dern and Quentin Tarantino bought it. It's a great theater. Anyway, they show old movies, double features. It's great. But there's like a group of men that hang out there, lonely men who go to like every movie every night, and when I first moved out to Los Angeles, I was kind of one of those guys. I was there all the time, and I was like, oh no, I'm turning into one of these guys who wears like a button, like a vest with a button on it that says Jaws.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like, and they know the name of all the character actors, and they're like, that gaffer that's one of the best gaffers in the business. Like they even know the crew. They're like, oh look, that's the same best boy from The Long Goodbye. They just get real too deep. So, and they're weird guys. So, but sometimes I want to talk to people, So this was a guy who was outside the theater, and he was one of these guys. But I just wanted to talk about this movie because I thought it was a weird movie, and so I said to this guy, they were talking about the movie, and I kind of walked up, and I was just like, yeah, it was a good movie, but I thought it was kind of weird that Bruce Dern's character kills someone right at the beginning, and he's supposed to be the hero. Like, I think that's kind of like, for me, it's kind of weird, right? And this guy goes to me, he goes, yeah, but I like Bruce Dern. And I was like, well, okay, but I don't mean like, okay, well, yeah, I like Bruce Dern too, but I'm talking about in the movie. In the movie, I think it's weird that that they'd had the main guy who was supposed to be the hero killed somebody with a shovel. You know what I mean? I just thought that kind of like, and he goes, yeah, but I like old movies. And so I just like walked away. But I think it's an interesting approach to arguing where you just change the parameters.
Well, you once came out of a movie and the person that was there was Loudon Wainwright, right?
I did. I saw Loudon Wainwright III, who's a musical hero of mine. We saw a movie that was not very good, starring Michael Shannon and some boy who's like supposed to be a magic boy, a magic alien boy who has light coming out of him or something. Do you know?
Yeah, I saw most of that movie too.
What's that movie called?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it was not good. And so I went and saw it, and I think it was called The Magic Light Up Boy. I don't know what it was called. Magic Boy. And I came out of the theater, but I consider Loudon Wainwright to be a friend of mine, even though I don't know him. I don't know him, I just know him. But you know what I mean? Like, that's why celebrities become these people but they don't know you. So I said, I came out of the theater. He was like paying his parking, and I said, Loudon? And he thought I must be someone he knew. So he said, oh, yes. And then he said, oh, who are you? And I was like, yeah, you call people by their first name. Like, if they're a celebrity, they at first think that maybe you're somebody normal. So, hey, Loudon. And then I was like, as soon as he's like, oh, no. And then I was like, I have your CD in my car.
It's getting worse.
He was like, great. Oh, good. I was like, what movie? No, but it wasn't that awkward. I just said, oh, I'm a fan. And what movie did you see? I said, what movie did you see? And he'd seen the same one as me, The Electric Boy or whatever. And I said, well, that wasn't that good either. And he said, no, it wasn't. I said, it was okay. He said, yeah, it was all right. But he was nice. Very expensive glasses frames, well dressed. You can always tell a celebrity. They always have the clear glasses frames.
Well, back then. But not anymore, probably.
I think it's a thing. People like to have those clear glasses frames. That's like a way of saying that I'm special. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey guys, the movie is called Midnight Special, 2016.
Oh wow, 2016. Okay.
Oh, that's Midnight the one Special. Where that person died on the set. Remember, the person got run over on the railroad tracks.
No, that wasn't that. That was supposed to be that was an aborted. It
was called the Midnight Special, though, wasn't it?
It might have been. It was a Greg Allman biopic that was starring William Hurt, which sounds like it would have been a fucking nightmare anyway. But then on top of it, that horrible thing.
They put a mattress on the tracks and the train showed up.
They put a whole bed on the fucking train tracks without any permission. and tried to shoot a dream sequence. And this poor production assistant, somebody, you know, very low level 21-year-old got run over by a train. And, you know, it was one of those things where, you know what it was? You know what it was? And we can leave the show with this. The guy who directed that movie, it was his childhood dream to make a movie. And he cut some corners, and a young person that he considered collateral damage. And that guy's still, you know, fairly unapologetic about it. And, you know, as creepy as you could be about it, like, oh, we didn't, you know, just not taking responsibility. And I think he's still trying to make movies. But the point is that this is not every childhood dream is something to be celebrated if it's blood soaked.
Pay your taxes, do the proper paperwork.
Yeah, love each other. Don't go on fucking bounce houses in the sky like a fucking dick. Okay. Well, next week we will get to the flute guy. Maybe this will be our, speaking of Matt Damon, this will be like our Jimmy Kimmel Matt Damon thing. Next week we'll talk about the flute guy. Thank you, Eric Wilson. Thank you, Greg Crofton. Thanks, John Burr.
Thanks to the Hot Storks.
Thank you to the Hot Storks, the Gimlins, the Power Directors in the chat, and we will see you next week.